but I'm going to do that right now. Oh, we're on.
What are all the other things?
We're on.
Yeah, so
While he's setting a timer, I'm Morey White.
I'm Bob Nelson.
I'm setting a timer. I'm Tracey White.
Hi, setting a timer.
Hi, setting a timer.
Hello.
I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Conversation Podcast. Guess what? We're going to have a conversation. Let's do this thing.
Fade black.
I hope it's not that kind of conversation.
We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I'm cheery.
Where is yours? Me too.
Cheer to you.
So I'm just wondering though, is it setting a timer or is it setting a timer? Setting
Yes.
setting a, or is this? It's setting a. Yeah, never mind.
Are you grammaring right now?
Trying to figure out where the A is.
It's just something
an
I don't
initial
You're in the
or
grammar
is it-
swamp.
Is it the end of setting or the beginning of timer?
Just lost in the the weeds of the grammar weeds.
Setting
That's what I'm trying to
Setting up.
say. Grammar weeds.
You know, just like vacations, we don't joke about grammar. That just we don't.
Oh, why would we joke about grammar? She's such a nice person.
That's what they call my mom.
I love my grammar.
Our mom is grammar.
Oh, I see.
Grammar.
To the grandkids.
Grammar and
We don't joke
grandpa.
about grammar.
What about grandpa?
Right, Mom? We don't joke about you.
That's right.
Seriously, grandpa.
My mom is precious.
Grandpa?
Grandpa.
No.
Is it grandpa married to grandpa?
Papa.
That's
Or
the other
In
one.
my case, grandbob.
Grandpa.
Grandbob.
Grandbob.
I like Grandbob. That's awesome.
You have such a wonderfully versatile name, Bob.
Yes, I do.
Oh, my stars. Oh, well, you know what? Let's get into this thing. Conversing as we already are. What'd you say?
Spelt the same forward and backwards.
Well, no,
what it
not
is.
entirely,
Grandbob?
because I spell my name with two T's.
It's true.
With a silent P.
Silent P.
I've got a joke about that about my brother, but I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Let's get rolling. Hey, how you doing, Morey White? How are you doing today?
Doing all right. Work's a little overwhelming. Other than that, doing well.
Good. The look on your face, man. You're like,
He's trying to convince himself. He's
I'm
doing
convincing myself.
you just like ghost or something.
I'll say this. I feel incredibly blessed. Just by so many things. Just the fact that I actually wake up every morning. That is an amazing thing. I have a wonderful family. I have wonderful friends. And when I complain, it's all trivial anyway. And I have a job. I have a great job.
Yeah.
So I am blessed. How about that?
That's good.
Love it.
Nice.
I could use some more sleep. But I'm blessed.
It's a running thing.
Just not with sleep.
I got you. I hear you. You need that, man.
But before we move on to Bob, before next podcast, we have a birthday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
This guy?
This guy.
Between now and the next one.
This guy.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Hey! Happy birthday, dear Morey. More wine. Happy birthday to you. Yay! My friend, another year older.
Oh, yeah. So that's
not done
happening.
yet.
Actually, that's
I wake up.
it's Friday, right?
Not quite dead.
Isn't that Friday?
Saturday.
Wait, I thought
Saturday.
the 13th was on Friday.
No. It's on Saturday
That's
this
right.
year.
Saturday the 13th.
I was not born on a Friday. I was born on a Monday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Not a Friday the 13th.
Okay. Monday the 13th.
You're just Morey the 13th.
It's actually
All right.
worse than Friday. Monday's always worse than Friday.
Oh, my.
Anyway.
All right. Well, that was a great. You got a little showcase there.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
All right. Moving along. Robert Nelson, how are you, sir?
Yeah, doing well. I'm evidently the only person who's had sleep, so. I also had big chunk of ribeye. So good.
Thus
That's
inducing
nice.
sleep, I assume.
No, I'm good.
Oh, that was today.
Yeah, that was today.
Oh,
So,
good
yeah.
for you.
So I learned an interesting cooking hack,
Yeah.
and I highly recommend this. So it started out with ground beef, and it works really well with anything ground. Okay, so you put in for about every 12 ounces of ground beef or meat or whatever it is, you put in about half a teaspoon of baking soda. Yeah, baking soda. And mix it in really well, and it creates this great sear. Keeps it from splattering all over the place.
Wow.
And,
I would
it keeps
never
it juicy. And so it's like, I wonder if this would work on the ribeye, and it worked on the ribeye.
Ah.
I got this
so it
really
seals
nice
it.
crust on it. It didn't splatter all over the place.
Oh, well-
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
That's fantastic. Again, we're having a conversation.
Right.
And you get
Go
cooking
through Grilling in
tips,
the garage.
extras. Yeah, and the cooking in the garage show you're working on.
Yeah.
What were
Cooking in the
you
garage.
calling that?
Yeah, grilling in the garage.
Grilling, garage grilling?
Garage grilling. I
That's-
think
what-
I still think it's a good idea.
Did I miss something? Yes, you
Yes,
weren't here
so
that
that was.
day.
You were,
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a cooking
Nobody-
show, but it's in
Oh,
the garage,
okay.
and you're
Yeah.
the countertop is like a big toolbox and stuff like that.
I do remember.
I got sleep too. Apparently, my sleep score last night was 83. So,
Oh, that's not
Wow. Well, this is a good segue then. On to
I
Mr.
was
Tracy
never that
White.
way.
yeah,
How are you doing, sir?
doing
All rested and well.
Doing well. Just like Morey said, I feel very blessed. Life is busy and everything. Trying to jump through hoops with medical stuff to help take care of mom-in-law is a little trying, but we're still pushing forward in the right direction. And then the only other thing was that my mortgage company called and they want me to refi to a lower rate.
Oh.
And I'm like, what's in it for you? Oh no, we take care of anything. Yeah, you wrap that back into the loan, don't you? No, I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that I pay my mortgage payment to you based on this interest rate, right? And you're calling me to say, hey, we want to take less of your money.
Did they?
I'm a little suspect.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, that was kind of a fun conversation.
Oh.
Because I do that, when,
I was
when
thinking
somebody
of
says,
refi.
"Hey, you want to save money?" I'm like, I'm not saving. You're making. So if you're calling me to save me money, you're making something.
I'm curious what their response to that was. What is
No, he had a very good response. What probably the most compelling argument that he made was keeping loyal customers and keeping a robust portfolio. And they found that customer loyalty comes from saving their customers some money whenever
Yeah,
they
that
can.
makes sense.
So I'm like,
and referring friends when they're getting ready to buy.
referrals and stuff like that. And whenever I get my next loan, hey, these guys have treated me well all these years, kind of thing. So anyway,
Oh, good, because we were thinking about some refining.
I'll have to tell you who my company is and go from there later.
All right.
Johnny,
Yes.
How are you?
How are
I'm doing just fine. Now you guys
how's your
are all.
foot?
It's okay.
Okay.
Here's the deal about my foot. In this bunion, hallux valgus, is a curse upon you.
Alex von Balgus.
Pax upon you. What's been happening, I think, here is that when I initially injured, because over time your foot, causes this problem, so it's now prone to being really painful and hurting. And I did something somewhere in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks or something, that added some extra pain. So once that kind of subsided, I was feeling better, and it wasn't really hurting. It was just slightly sore, but it was fine. So, but then I need to get walking, running, and I did all that walking home from school to get kind of warmed up. And then hours later, it would suddenly start hurting. I'm like, why is it randomly suddenly hurting? And I was like, oh. It's what I did earlier today, and it's now just inflamed and starting.
Yeah.
So I know it feels a lot better. I got some stuff on order that's going to be here to kind of help recorrect, so I don't have. I'm avoiding any surgery as much as possible. They said do as much as you can before any kind of surgery. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyhow, so it is a little painful, but again, it's one of those deals where I'm not limping as much. But if I bonk it, or it's just like,
You know, he's got a hacksaw right over there.
hey, if we could just go ahead
Chop it
and
on
I've
off.
got a knife in my
get
pocket.
a peg, get a little stump, call me
Got
Stumpy.
some scissors? I've
But-
got a funny story I got to tell you about that one of these days. Not on the podcast.
Okay. Change the rating of our podcast.
Oh, no, it wasn't
Well,
bad.
violence,
Not kid
gore,
friendly.
No violence.
blood. Well, anyhow,
There was blood.
The thing is, I'm trying to get it to heal.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm trying to stay off of it as much as I can, which is nigh unto impossible in the job I'm doing every
Right.
week.
Chasing after
But
your kids, yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
but I have a sympathetic teacher I'm working with who's always like, she was today. She was like, now Johnny, do not let A, I'll call him A because we're not supposed to say their names. Do not let A step on your foot today. If I see you over there, because he's the kind of kid that will he'll step on the tops of my feet when we're doing the songs. And I've been getting to where I'm kind of moving my foot. She's like, if I see you over there, I'm going to call you out on it. Fair enough. Just trust me, I'm keeping my foot as far away as I can. So anyway, hopefully it'll heal up and we'll see. But the main thing is me, personal discipline. Interesting segue into our conversation.
Awesome.
But it's the battle I'm beginning to see it was with me. What am I doing to myself? I've got to let this thing heal. So it's forcing me to back off a little bit, and I do need a little bit of backing off. So
Good.
when I came home today, which I did not walk home, I hobbled home on my knees because I'm a man and I will get home. No,
I dragged myself.
I waited.
The pilgrimage.
I waited for my lovely wife when we were home together.
That's good. Very
But
good.
I did take a nap when I got home, and I hate taking afternoon naps, particularly late in the day ones.
Then why did
But
you?
I'm dying because I was so exhausted.
I couldn't help it.
I was. So I feel a little better now, actually. And I did the same thing yesterday. It was a lot of mental strain, a lot of whatever. And I did get a nap, but then, I was up through the evening, and when we went to bed, I still was sleeping. so anyway, there is my sleeping foot story.
What you need to do is just fill your day so you roll from one thing directly into the next and then directly into the next, and you don't have time.
Unfortunately, it all rolls into me from one thing to the next. I don't roll into it. It's rolling into
yeah.
it.
Rolls over
It
you.
rolls over me, then I roll with it. Down the.
Well, I'm glad you're taking care of your foot. It's gonna,
Thank you, man. I
it's gonna be
appreciate
good.
that. It's one of those things. It's like there's so many illustrations in it because it's such a small thing, and it can completely shut you down.
Oh, of course.
So it's like everything else feels great. My foot. Can't walk. I can't run. I can't do anything till this thing's healed. So
Can't have kids stepping on your foot.
no, I can't. Maybe get some other people to do work for me while I'm. Sorry for spitting things.
Did you get droplets on us? COVID droplets?
Hey, it's a thing.
Ooh, can I look? I know I already did my turn, but I do want to say something about what I heard about COVID,
Your turn.
which is very promising. So for there to be a consideration to a level to where herd immunity is like the thing, the magic number is 70%, right? So that would mean 70% of the people in America have either got it, and so now they have a good resistance to it, or vaccinated. Right? So one of those two, or including the natural resistance to it. And we're projected to hit that by July.
Oh, great.
Yes,
Yeah,
America
awesome.
is
Yeah.
projected to hit herd immunity by July, possibly.
And it might
So-
even be sooner because Pfizer figured out how to cut their production time in half.
That is great.
Even better.
That is great.
That's all good news.
I'm on the list. I'm getting my vaccine when it comes out.
Yeah, I'll have to get one too pretty soon.
Yeah, Julie has a number.
It's like 40,000 or something.
No,
She
hers
said.
is only in the 20,000s.
Oh,
Yeah,
to
that
get
is
hers?
our-
Yeah, she's
She works
in line.
directly.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
20,000.
Anyway, I thought that was kind of good news.
That is
Because it
great
directly
news.
affects cruising.
I'm praying for you to get onto a nice
my
cruise
goodness.
this summer. Into the summer or something.
There was a really killer deal for like May right, out of Galveston, and I'm thinking, okay, we'll take Josh with us, and it's a 4-day, it's just an out and back, and I'm like, because if I book it now, I know it'll be canceled.
You know, you can get it for just over about $150 per person for one of those.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It is super
Are you
cheap.
kidding?
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
I may have to join you.
They're absolutely great. So what I think they're doing is they're selling these cruises with the high probability that they'll be canceled, and then you take that cruise credit, right, and apply it to another cruise further on down. You pay the difference between the two, right, because it's going to be more expensive, but you have perks that go along with it. So it all washes out in the end. But anyway,
That's kind of scheming.
it is kind of schemery, but they do need to keep money on the books. So
Things you don't want to happen on a cruise, being washed out.
Yeah, you don't want your cruise washed out. That's what you still
I am sorry for going off the
It's all right.
Dude,
That was your
that's
showcase.
script
exciting.
again.
It's a showcase for you, then a little showcase for
Yeah,
me.
but I just thought that was really great.
That's fantastic.
It's good. It's good news for the cruise, right? But it's really great news just for us, like
Absolutely.
as
Oh,
a
yeah.
nation, and
Oh, yeah.
hopefully as a world,
As a church,
and-
too.
Yeah, as a church,
Stuff's in the works.
things,
Stuff I can't even talk
getting
about.
better.
I can't talk about it on this podcast.
Okay, good.
I mean, I honestly cannot talk about it. I might tell you guys.
Can we push stop and let's talk about it for a minute, and then let's come back and go, that was great.
Black.
Yeah, remind me when we're done. I'll tell you. Swear you to secrecy. Well,
Sunday
that's a pretty
happened.
good John.
Yeah,
What do you guys want to talk about? Yeah,
Sunday happened, and I noticed the
Sunday happened to us.
prayer at the very beginning for no distractions. Thank you, because that worked.
that's good.
I wasn't even thinking about the week before for you. Subconsciously, God led me to pray for that. That's good.
The whiteboard was even used, bro.
Both sides.
And you were here.
And he erased. Yes.
Use the whiteboard, flip that thing in the magic way. Woo!
You know, I gotta say that
Whirly
I felt
girly.
a little bad for the smiley face at the end because one eye was a little higher.
Still happy. He's happy and blessed.
Oh, okay.
Man, that camera cut you off. Sorry.
No.
Oh, well.
Which one?
That one.
Oh, did it blink or did it just...
No, it's
can't see
the line of sight. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We're
We want to see
good.
my man. All right.
We can see him.
So,
That's the best picture of you two right up there. So
we're just...
there's your thumbnail.
Wait,
That's not bad.
well, blue steel?
Wait, shouldn't this be your thumbnail?
Wait. Let's do blue steel.
Any
No. All right. Anyway. All right, yeah.
the
that was
remaining
fun.
13 minutes.
Yeah, I was about to say. This kind
And
of...
now for something completely different.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Well, all right. Let's talk about yesterday.
Let's
quickly
do
here, or whatever you guys want to talk about. So, it was. You made a funny face. I said, "Whatever you want to talk about." It's like you had some random thought. Let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
I keep on thinking of the Great Tamale Incident.
The great tamale
the
incident.
Great Tamale
do
incident.
wanna know
That's
that.
right. Yeah,
That's right.
You're supposed to tell us a little more
What
about
was
the
the
Great
story?
Tamale incident.
Okay, so the setting, 2014, September. Anyway, we were on our 15th anniversary. We decided we were going to go out of country somewhere, and Mexico made the most sense for beginners. So we got our passports and everything. Went to Puerto Vallarta, and originally we were going to stay in a resort, and it's like. I was like, we're not resort people. So they had, no offense, the carnival, the cruise idea is like, no. Anyway, just being stuck in there, yeah. But anyway, so we get this VRBO condo, right? And we're right on the outside of the Zona Romantica. And, which is Old
He
Town.
said that really well.
Old Town Puerto Vallarta. And, well, the funny part is, because I get so tan in the summer, the people thought it was a native until I started opening
Oh.
So it was pretty funny. So anyway, we wanted tamales and we couldn't find. Nobody was serving tamales, right? It was just really weird. Saw one cart and it's like, well, it's too far away. We're not going to go out there. So I went up into the market area right behind us, which is like really old town, like classic Mexico kind of thing. And so I went to a couple shops asking for tamales, and they're like, oh no, we don't do anything. Nope, we don't do tamales. I'm like, what the heck? And so I find this guy and he's just goes in there and it's like, hey, do you have any tamales? And he goes, no, but I know somebody who might. And he takes me out to this store. Okay, now here's where the incident starts coming into play. So this gal walks out of a clothing store and he introduces me to her and says, hey, do you got any tamales? And she goes, yeah, sure. How many do you want? No, 2 or 4. Well, how many do you want? 4. Okay, we'll go with 4. And so she goes, okay, I think I can get you some. And she leads me up farther along the road. So we're getting into older town. And okay, Joy is back. You got a picture of this. She's a cautious individual. And she's done all the research about cartels and things like that. It's just like our cell phones don't work down there.
Oh my!
So it's like if I'm kidnapped, it's an email. So she's back there and she's constantly checking her email because she's getting worried about me for being gone so long. So anyway, and then that's where the incident gets even better.
Oh my!
Yeah. So this gal takes me up into this it's like this big long alleyway, for lack of a better term, and it's like, okay, there's no exit point here except for behind me. So it's a good thing that I'm 6'1" and everybody around me is 5'5". So it gives me a little bit of intimidation. So so she leads me back, and I realize, oh wait, this is where she lives. Her apartments are back there. Oh. And so her son comes out, and they say something to each other, and and then she yells upstairs to somebody, and somebody yells downstairs. And by the way, I'm thinking, okay, at any point now, this is where the mariachi band starts playing. Deliverance thing. That's where this came from. Just waiting for it. Oh, and so she yells back up, and then she says, hey, she has tamales upstairs. And I'm like, okay. So I go upstairs into this place, and I'm like, hello. And it's dark. Oh no. Really dark in there. And there's a guy on the bed in his boxers watching TV on this tiny black and white TV. Oh. And I'm like, this is so odd. And then there's this very pleasant-looking older lady who goes, hi, bueno, or hola. And I get tamales, and she says, yes, tamales. And I'm, oh, really? And she pulls out of a pot on the stove these fresh tamales. I'm like, cuatro? And she said, oh, see. And, so I got 4 tamales, and I said, how much? And she goes, it's basically comes out to 44 pesos. I'm like, okay, you cannot get a tamale here for 44 pesos. Right. I mean, it's literally like 25 cents about around. Yeah, it was ridiculously cheap. And okay,
should have got some more.
Yeah, really. Right? So I got
all of them.
I had to pass customs. So and they were that's the great tamale incident. And they were the best tamales I've ever had. I mean, they were so smooth, and so just tasty.
That's
tamales.
That wonderful off the beaten path hospitality that you get in these other countries.
That's way off the beaten path.
Fantastic. Well, I have a great similar story from Germany. I'll tell another.
He was escorted back with a guy with a machine gun, but it's all good.
Well, I mean, we did see the
he was looking for Wiener Schnitzel or something. Had to go back.
The federal police would go around in trucks, and they were hauling serious armament.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Cartels at that point weren't really a big problem for Puerto Vallarta because there just wasn't a really good way to access it from the mainland, so you had to go through the coast, and it really wasn't accessible that way. So
Now I want some tamales.
I do too.
Right. So in Christmas, the second great tamale incident.
The second great tamale.
Right after Christmas,
it was the great tamale, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, exactly. We've tried to keep a tradition of getting tamales, for around Christmas, and we've forgotten about them. And so a couple days after Christmas this last year, I was over at King Soopers, and this gal comes up to me, hey, I want to buy some tamales. I'm like, yes, I do.
Yes,
and they were
awesome.
Almost as good. Yeah.
Oh.
I think the only reason why they weren't good is because they didn't have the whole tamale incident thing.
Yeah.
So that was the not
and they
so
were
great
probably more
story,
expensive as well.
Still a good price though. It's still better than King Supers. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
There's a place downtown that makes some really good tamales.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little off the beaten path.
Again,
Well, this is
Up
making
off
me think
20th,
of
I believe.
a little place in Fort Worth called Granny's Tacos. It's one of my favorite places to go because you drive up and it's a transmission shop. And the sign says like transmission,
And tamales.
income tax, notary, tacos. And it's a walk-up deal. And at lunchtime, it's so funny because you'll see people just lying down the sidewalk. I mean,
Wow.
they're like from downtown Fort Worth,
Yeah.
businessmen standing out there, dudes in boots, and just ready for Granny's tacos. They're fantastic.
That is awesome.
Wow.
so I have a way to segue to your message.
our
So
remaining
since we're
5
almost
minutes.
done.
Goes into hospitality. That was a big thing in the New Testament, which was
Oh, yeah.
a huge. I mean, it's more last week's than yesterday's message, but about eating with the tax collectors and sinners.
Oh, yeah.
So it's hospitality. Food is a great way to people's hearts.
Yeah.
Oh, it really is. When I served as a summer missionary in Arlington, Virginia, way back when, and which is about 4 miles from Washington, D.C. And the church I was serving with that summer, they ministered to a lot of refugees who came through. So some people from Colombia who invited us for dinner, and it was like that. It was like tons of stuff I hadn't at that point really had, but it was simple things. It was like the rice, the black beans, the chilled glass vase full of water that was chilled and cold, and the hospitality. All of that was just fantastic and amazing. So yeah, there's something to be said for getting to know people. So we need to have some meals together, friends.
We do.
I agree.
You were talking about, knowing the word. That was how it ended, getting into that. And there are some amazing things in the Bible, like John 3:16.
Hey, you're right.
That's
We
true.
don't need a segue. Just go
No,
into
I'm
it,
just
man.
getting right into it. Where am I? For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, and whoever believes in him will not perish but have eternal life. Read it over and over and over. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And keep reading. Gets better.
Hey, there you go. It gets better.
Well, I don't know.
That's good. That's
3:17 and 3:18 and 3:19.
yeah, just keep going once you start.
Start at the beginning. But so the whole thing that the thing that we're on right now is stronger, right?
Yeah,
Because
stronger.
more, stronger,
Yeah.
closer, right? And so we're on stronger, and that's getting in the Word and how we become stronger, and by knowing is like a good step before, because you got to know if you're gonna do. But that's the spoiler for next time.
We don't want anybody to know.
We don't want anybody. We don't want anybody to know what's coming up next.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't want to know that truth. It's a spoiler.
Oh, yeah.
You got to know.
We can't give it away.
Kind of sounds like doing.
Doing.
Yeah, knowing.
Doing.
Kind of sounds like that.
Well, I think the most important part about that, there are two things about stronger, and we can wrap with this too real fast. So, and that is just that originally that word was chosen very specifically because it came out of a period of time where I was bombarded by Christians. I say bombarded. I knew a lot of Christians who had a misunderstanding of what spiritual maturity was all about.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this more next week, but they had a lot of Bible knowledge, but they had zero practice in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a few others who were busily serving in missions and things like that. And I did that on purpose. I hate doing the quote thing, but they thought it was mission-minded. They did a lot of serving, but they had no devotional passion and weren't in the Word. And both of those things lead to pride, arrogance, emptiness, or all of the above.
Yep.
So that got me really thinking. Then I would have, as I was trying to communicate deep truths of Scripture to people who didn't know anything about the Bible, there was a kind of a subtle criticism. Can we go a little deeper? Go a little. And these are people who weren't doing the simple thing I'd already told them the week before.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to go deeper. You're not even ready to get out of the shallow water.
Right.
Come on. So anyway, so that's where some of that came from. But the idea rather than just being me reactionary to religious people, is truly a very biblical concept that we grow strong in the Lord. And I thought that's a better idea. And then getting to that idea that our target isn't how much of this we know or how much of this we do, it's about becoming more and more like the one we're following. And so that target goal, Christ-likeness,
That's exactly.
Yeah.
that suddenly brings everything into focus. You will study the Bible. You will learn the Bible. You will obey.
Yeah.
Because your goal isn't how much of this or how much of this. It's how much like Him am I becoming.
I like that. The
So-
Christ likeness was the word.
And then all the letters we had going.
Yes, I like that.
There was a bunch of acronyms.
Yeah.
The one you're missing though is WWJRI.
Yeah.
What would Jesus run in?
You've already accomplished that.
That's true.
It's handles.
Sandals.
Okay.
Or, well, we don't know. He may have been. Did he run on the water? Did he walk? He walked.
He strolled.
Total control. All right. Well, hey, we're almost out of time now, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Go
but,
for a little run.
Do you guys
it was a good conversation.
Out of the boat.
come back to us, guys? We're having a conversation.
Even when we're just conversing and we do and telling stories and everything, I think that it's important for people to see that we can get around or sit down and talk about whatever we want to talk about, and it's a good, loving, peaceful conversation where we're not getting real fired up over all the wrongs in the world. And when we talk about the wrongs in the world, we talk about that in a way that is really encouraging to each other, and I think that's really important for people to see. So this podcast was kind of storytelling more than talking about yesterday's lesson, but I think it's a healthy thing to do with each other.
Absolutely.
And for people to
it's entertaining
share in
tonight,
that
for
too.
sure.
So
Well, yeah, and again, just to put some context on the beginning, where you're sharing, you kind of sigh, you kind of hit, you're like, but I'm blessed. And then you share, I'm really blessed. And yet I also know, some people will say, I'm blessed. But you guys are saying that through some struggle, through some pain, through a lot of things that have, it's not like you have a perfect world going on around you, but you understand and see a better picture of what you're going through to be able to say you're blessed in the midst of it.
What was the verse of the day yesterday? About God showing strength and weakness. Therefore, I'm going to boast about my weakness.
Yeah. Paul.
It was Paul talking about that in Corinthians. He was talking to the people in Corinth. Yeah, about that. I don't know word for word, but that's basically the heart of it. I'm going to brag about my weakness so that.
When I am weak, he is strong.
He is strong.
that's right.
But and that is the case, and that is one of the reasons we're so blessed.
Yeah. I just think it's great. I just think it's good to put that in perspective.
Yeah.
In the best of ways.
And it's living out James 1:2. Consider it all joy, my brothers, when you're going through trials and tribulations.
Yes.
Very joyous times.
So joyous.
Blessed to be straight.
Off the rails.
I love it.
But remember, stressed backwards is dessert.
Hey, I'm glad you stressed that tonight. All right, so hey, you know what? You can join us every Sunday at 10 a.m. You can join us online by going to Facebook, finding it's at Compass Church Colorado. Go to Compass Church Colorado, and we stream every Sunday our service. Or you can soon, perhaps, join us in person.
On purpose.
Join us. And then, this is water, right?
I had a nap.
I had a nap. My nap was too long.
He's still napping.
I'm still kind of asleep. You can discover more at compassdenver.com. We'd love to have you as our guest this Sunday. All right. Final words.
Love you guys, and love everyone out there too.
Love you guys, and likewise. See you later.
Peace, y'all.
Grace and peace to you. That's all we have for tonight, and we are out. Whoa. We are so out, man. Shields up. Easy.